So, does the truck probably need a radiator? Sure. Does it probably need a water pump? Sure, but those things are expensive and I don't trust them. Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy, and stick around if you want to learn a cheap hack to keep your low Land Rover running cooler in the AC temperatures of the upcoming hot summer. I'll show you how to do it right now. So if you're new to the channel, I own a lot of old Land Rovers. I'm currently in my 97 D1 with 240,000 miles, and after the winter months end, it becomes summer, it's AC season, and some of my Rovers have functioning AC. But they also have some fluctuating engine temperatures, or specifically coolant temperatures. And it's something that you kind of forget about during the winter months, and it rears its head again once the sun comes back. And if you've got a scan gauge or an ultra gauge, those are the temperatures that you want to see. I've got my AC cranking, not going too quickly, but I've figured out how to lower my temperatures drastically for around town driving. Now, I've done cooling system work on all of my Rovers, and this particular 4-liter D1 received the cheap upgrades in comparison to the more expensive flow cooler upgrades I put on my other D1, to kind of compare and contrast the high dollar equipment versus the cheaper quality things. And the one item that I think did not contribute positively to keeping this car's engine temperatures down was the fan clutch. Now, the viscous fan clutch on these 4 liters and 3.9s and 4.6s is very important, especially during the hotter temperatures. And it is a wear item, and it's a consumable item that needs to be changed out. There's 2 different models. There's a replaceable one, and there's a fixed one that you have in some odd models or later D2s, which can be swapped with the replaceable one, I guess, so you can separate the fan and the clutch, which is to me the more desirable model as opposed to the one piece, which is triple the price. So this particular D1 is always run fairly cool. I replaced it with a 180-degree thermostat, I flushed the radiator, and I put a new cheap fan clutch in, and that kept my temperatures much more reasonable during the summer months. But the problem I was having is during long drives, over an hour, temperatures around 70, 80 degrees with the AC on, if the car went over 70 miles an hour, it would start to overheat a little bit, at least visually on the temp gauge. And on the scan gauge, just touch temperatures, which cause the needle to move. I didn't like that. Fine around town, not so great on the highway. And what I suspected is that the fan clutch wasn't kicking on until the car was hitting temperatures that I deemed too high. I think it was 210, 215, which is still okay, but not great for these old V8s. So, does the truck probably need a radiator? Sure. Does it probably need a water pump? Sure, but those things are expensive and I don't trust radiators. And the flow cooler water pump, I don't really feel like doing that. Mine's not currently leaking. So the one item that's left is putting in a heavy-duty fan clutch to help keep that thing spinning at all temperatures, not just the higher temperatures, to preventatively keep your engine temperature. And I've done that. Now, before I installed this particular fan clutch, you put your foot into it a little bit and all you hear is engine, intake noise, exhaust noise. Now, you hear that fan. So this fan is pretty much always going to be engaged and on, which some people might say is not a great thing, might suck up some engine power or fuel consumption, but I'm driving an old Land Rover and I care more about this than I care about fuel consumption. Now, my other gripe is, I think I found a couple years ago an HD fan clutch on Atlantic British or so for $140. It was an OEM Plus model, Bear or another name brand, and I installed it and it's been great. But I wanted to see if there's a cheaper alternative, kind of like the S10 fan clutch hack, which is also fine. But what I did find for about the same price is a comparable HD bolt-on unit, and I've been testing it for the last couple of days to see what the results were, and they're really, really impressive. Yes, I muck around. That's from a D2. The Borg Warner. This was the one that I put in the D1, the expensive version. And this was the one that took off, which was also probably fine, but just wasn't always on. Yeah, all makes 4x4. There's a part number there somewhere. And then the one I took off is, oh, right here. So again, yeah, this was pretty much brand new too. It's just a kind of a cheap universal one, but all the bolt pattern and everything fit up, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I know I put that same, or one of the same D1 heavy duty ones in my D2 as well, which I'm currently fitting a winch to. And here is the part number. It is a Hayden Automotive piece of equipment here. This is 2991. That is severe duty. I think there's a heavy duty and a severe duty. I think this is the severe duty fan clutch. So write that down. I mean, that's what it is. It took me 5 minutes to take the old one off because I've had it off before. If you haven't had yours off before, it'll take a little bit longer getting that 32 or 36 millimeter wrench in and kind of ratcheting it off, but big improvement. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with the cooling system of a 4-liter 3.9 Land Rover, here's your fan clutch. It's this piece right here. This is the plastic fan and bolts to the clutch. The clutch spins onto the water pump right there. And I noticed this one, this is heavy duty. It does not want to spin. Now the other one had a lot of tension in it too. You know, when they go bad, they can spin kind of freely. But this one's just fairly good. It's pretty much always on. It's already making, I think, a noticeable difference on and off throttle. And yeah, I think for the price, I found it on Rock Auto. It was like 60 bucks or something. Again, in comparison with some of the other ones I found for over 100. I think if you got a cheap Rover and you're like me and you're running a winch and you're running lights and a lot of things that block the airflow of the front of your truck because you're doing off-road things, then overdoing it, because I'm sure there'll be people in the comments that are telling me I'm wrong, is better than underdoing it when it comes to cheap old V8 trucks. So the around town test, AC on. It's not that hot today. I'm gonna try it again before I publish this video. Slightly warmer temperatures, but you know, it's sustained. I think so far. So. All right, so this is the big road test. We're going out to Pearl's Pond to do some trail cleaning in the old Disco with the new fan clutch installed, and I'm 165, and it's probably 40 degrees out. So again, it's not the full test of capability. I did run the AC for a little bit, but we're running around 165, 170 at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, which is too cold, but I'm not mad about that. That lets me feel comfortable letting the truck idle and whatnot, so we'll check back in on the way back once it's heated up a little bit, the ambient temperature, to see if that has done anything. Actually clean trails. Now I got the AC cranking. It's probably around 60 degrees. It's still idling, 172. Really nice. Get it. All right, so I'm trying to finalize the testing for my cheap HD load viscous fan video. And it's about 90 degrees now. I got the AC on and I'm on the highway trying to run some things from Lowe's. So let's see what the temps are now. The car's been on for about 10 minutes or so. So still staying cool, but that fan's roaring. You know, I'm definitely noticing a bit of a power decrease and whatnot. So, you know, this takes a toll on your car a little bit from just a performance standpoint, but I think anything in the name of keeping your engine cool will probably work out better financially in the long term. So I haven't seen over 190 idling in traffic with the AC on. So for me, that's the most important point. And it is 85, 90 degrees out today. So this is a better, more accurate test, I think, of how this will perform long term. So another good thing to note is this is 185. So your temp gauge was 185, so it's a little bit below that, above that second tick. So when this thing before was starting to overheat a bit, this gauge would start moving around 115. And it would just kind of be at the middle, and then it would creep up. It would be, you know, 220, or sorry, 215, 220. It would kind of spike and fluctuate depending on what my speed was. So, you know, it's a dummy gauge, but for some reason the one in this car actually works a little better than some of the ones in my other trucks. So we are finally on the highway where this truck never ever goes, and fixing the problem that nobody asked me to fix is the slight overheating over 70 miles an hour. We're gonna put some, get some heat into it to see if this big old fan clutch is gonna make a difference. And this will be the final test in this, the Jeep extreme duty fan clutch, because, you know, I'm not gonna put a radiator in it. All right, so we're doing pretty good. And again, this issue only pops up after a long bit of driving. We're staying under where these trucks run normally, which is pretty cool. I have the AC going. It's actually going down a little bit,